Okay, here we go. This is Ted Cruz yesterday in New Hampshire. He's got a press conference, and a reporter says, Senator, you condemned what your campaign did to Ben Carson just before the Iowa caucus. Will you fire or suspend anyone from your campaign for putting out misinformation?
Our political team passed on a CNN news story that CNN broke. The news story said that Ben Carson was not continuing from Iowa on to New Hampshire. He was not continuing to South Carolina. Instead, he was going home to Florida. That was a news story CNN had posted, and our political team passed it on to our supporters.
That's true, but it doesn't go quite far enough. CNN did post it, and their reporter was some clown named Moody. Well, reporter named Moody, Jeff or George or whatever. But where did he get it? See, this remains the area where people stop being interested. But how did CNN get hold of it? Maybe it was Greg Moody. Just think Moody, and you'll have the guy. But he had to get it from Carson. Had to get it from the Carson campaign. How's that going? And Carson was not going to New Hampshire. He was going home. As he said later, to get a change of clothes. He'd been on the road for 3 weeks. He had to go home and get a change of clothes. I've seen some snarky comments. Hey, Dr. Carson, have you ever heard of the laundromat? Have you ever heard of the dry cleaner? Some people have been snarky about this. What do you mean you got to go home and change clothes? But the point is, Cruz was right. CNN posted it, and they had to get it from somewhere, and they got it in the Carson camp. So, last night and during the day yesterday, CNN was not happy. We have a montage. They had to defend their reporting. They had to savage Cruz as a liar for hours last night. We have Anderson Cooper, Aaron Burnett, Dylan Byers, Brooke Baldwin, all talking about Cruz's campaign telling voters that Carson was leaving the race.
Senator Cruz keeps saying that it all stemmed from a CNN report, which just is not factually correct. He's saying that CNN reported that the campaign was being suspended, and that's not what was being reported.
Do you think, though, that it does raise a question of character and integrity, though, that is important for people to understand? It's Ted Cruz's campaign, and everything that comes from it is a direct reflection on him, and he's blaming it on CNN's reporting.
Senator Cruz's claims about CNN are false.
Senator Cruz tries to throw my network, CNN, under the bus. That accurate report was disseminated on television and CNN Digital, and that was that. I'm going to call out BS if I hear BS.
And that was the lovely and gracious Brooke Baldwin there, saying that she's going to call out BS when she hears BS. Well, go back up to 13. What did Cruz say that has them all agitated? Listen again.
Our political team passed on a CNN news story that CNN broke. The news story said that Ben Carson was not continuing from Iowa on to New Hampshire. He was not continuing to South Carolina. Instead, he was going home to Florida. That was a news story CNN had posted. And our political team passed it on to our supporters.
Canay, it's exactly what happened. CNN posted it. What? Did the original tweet did not say that. Screw the news story. CNN put that tweet out there. That's what Cruz is talking about. Yet later on, after the proverbial excrement hit the fan, then everybody goes into CYA mode and see, hey, wait a minute, we reported he was going back in cars. Hey, wait a minute, I said I was returning after I got a clean clothes change. Hey, all that's happening here is that there was a tweet, and don't tell me tweets don't matter. That's all anybody does anymore. There's a tweet out there from a CNN guy, Chris Moody, that's his name, that Carson was leaving before the caucuses started. Now, CNN can deny this left and right. They can say, well, we didn't broadcast it. Your reporter did. Your reporter tweeted it. It may not have been on a CNN site. It may not have been part of a CNN newscast, but a CNN reporter put it out there. That's what Cruz saw. Anyway, you hear they are livid. Last night, Anderson Cooper 360. He's got Rick Tyler on from the Cruz campaign. Isn't it totally disingenuous if you say the big announcement we're talking about is he's going to speak at the prayer breakfast, and email is not Twitter? You have more than 140 characters. You could have just said Carson speaking at the prayer breakfast. Instead, you leave it, this mysterious big announcement. You Cruz people. You make it look like he's dropping out. Didn't you do that on purpose?
You know what I'm amazed by, Anderson, is that the story here is Ben Carson, instead of going to New Hampshire or South Carolina, went to Florida and Washington, D.C. If Ted Cruz had decided,
right, I know, and we talked about that.
Have a little R&R.
I agree.
Well, that would have been the story,
right?
And everybody would have pointed it out, and it would have been the story. But because somehow it's different,
the story
Ben Carson
is also your candidate, who's an evangelical who talks about the Bible and his belief in Christianity, perhaps lied and was completely disingenuous.
There you go. There you go. See, his holy roller. He is running his campaign like a revival hour, and he's a big Christian. He went out there and lied, and he's trying to blame it on us. That's what CNN. He's trying to blame it on us. Ben Carson does it. Ted Cruz points it out, and Cooper says, yeah, Ted Cruz, who talks about the Bible, his belief in Christianity, perhaps lied and was completely disingenuous. Did Ben Carson leave Iowa? Did Ben Carson say he was going to leave Iowa? Did Ben Carson say he wasn't going to New Hampshire and South Carolina? Yeah, fine. Did Ben Carson later say, yeah, I needed to go home and get a change of clothes? Has anybody stepped forward, even now, and said, hey, you know what, I intended to vote for Carson in the caucus, but I didn't when I saw what Cruz said that he left? Has anybody come forward and said so? Not that I've heard of. Does anybody think Ben Carson was cheated out of 25,000 votes and would have come in third place? Breaking news, bulletin. The press is reporting Dr. Carson is taking time off from the campaign trail after Iowa and making a big announcement next week. This is the email the Cruz camp sent out. Dear, breaking news, the press is reporting that Dr. Ben Carson... Did I grab your attention there? See, you thought... See, this is how it's done. You thought I had brand new breaking news, right? This is what the Cruz team sent out. Dear so-and-so, breaking news, the press is reporting Dr. Ben Carson's taking time off from the campaign trail after Iowa and making a big announcement next week. Please inform any Carson caucus goers of this news and urge them to caucus for Cruz. Snurdly thinks it's a dirty truth. You commend them for it, but it was a dirty trick. Okay, Cruz has apologized. And it should have been the end of it. Exactly right. Should have been the end of it. Let me ask you something. If Cruz had fired somebody like we know Dr. Carson wanted to happen, would that have been the end of it? Okay, do you think Ted Cruz should give up his votes in the caucus or maybe redo the whole thing because he cheated and played so dastardly a dirty trick? Okay, you don't think that the Iowa caucus should be redone. You think Ted Cruz should be sued for this dirty trick, even though he was born in Canada?